Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. It's the Mac. Welcome back here to another showcase of John Tiller Software slash War Game Design Studios. Panzer Campaigns Kharkov 42. Wow, okay. Let's dive into this sucker. Okay, so this is well, I think it was last year or the year before. They revised all the Panzer Campaigns games and made them up to gold standards with the improved graphics and lots of other stuff that's been implemented in this game. We'll try to go over most of that stuff as we are doing this introduction to the game, and I will do that, and after that I will probably try and post a battle from this game, but it will not be included in this introductory and showcase of the game. Right, so this is what the game looks like when you fire it up. It's very familiar. All you guys have been seeing my previous Panzer campaigns and all the other good videos on YouTube out there. The games, this is what they look like, the Panzer campaign games. Same interface, same sort of deal. Everything is the same. Yeah, so this is what comes with the game. You've got a bunch of scenarios and all kinds of other good stuff. We'll go over this. First of all, the good thing when you install these games is always to dive into the actual install folder. Because there are a lot of good stuff that comes with this game. Lots of research and lots of good documentation and other good stuff to read. So this is what the install directory looks like when you have installed the game there. And of course you've got all the different maps here with all the units and what took part in this actual campaign. Get the German, Hungarian, Italian, Luftwaffe, Romanian troops, Russian guards. Now, this game has there's lots of improvements in this game from the original release. This is actually a really old Panzer campaign release. I think it was like the third one that was released from John Tiller, so it's like a really old one. I mean, it was one of the first. I mean, we're up to, what is it, 25, 26 titles now? But this is quite old, and but you wouldn't notice the difference because basically they're all being revised now, so they're all in like equal standard, basically. One good thing about this, there's been a complete revision of the full campaign. This here, we start opening this up here. We'll see that this is by Cesar Libran Moreno. It's a campaign full. It's a complete revision of the full campaign that comes with the game. Many of the John Tiller titles, as you know, have different kinds. I mean, the whole operation is covered, and then they have certain scenarios that deal with like the whole thing. They're usually like 150 turns plus. But the old ones are good. I mean, they're good, but they've had teamwork. I mean, people have been they've been working with people that have actually improved these campaigns and have a look at the different values and research about units present and not, and I think even like formation placements, and I mean there's a lot of stuff that has been implemented over the years. And as we know, many of the archives in Russia has been opened up for concerning the Second World War, and there's lots of new information that's come into the spotlight there. So but what's good about this is, I mean, there's some really good documentation here. You can tell this is serious stuff when you open them up. Here are some suggested rules for the campaign here, and here is written documentation about many years have passed since Kharkov 42 was released, and it received a quality revision by Volcano Man that improved the original stock campaign. And since then, new information was researched have surfaced. This mod is a variant based on the main campaign scenario with the new resources and research applied. So there's going to be like basically 3 improvements. I mean, this is concerning many of the Panzer campaigns titles from the John Tiller group there. This Volcano Man has made a lot of alternate versions of the original stock scenarios. But there's also even more stuff. I mean, like this guy here, Cesar, he has made an even more in-depth version of the main campaign of the game here. So good documentation here. There's all kinds of stuff that there are changes here and explained. So this is a good read if you want to dive into that pretty big campaign. I think it's 170 turns plus there. Yeah, so that's a cool thing. I'm going to definitely try that one out. I'm not going to do a Let's Play of it because it'll probably be like over 2,000 episodes. But I mean, these big campaigns take time to play. Jeez, they are huge. And if you want to micromanage every counter, man, I'm actually doing that in France 40 at the moment, and it's I've been playing the Grand Campaign for almost a couple of months now. I mean, they really should issue a health warning for that, because I think I've worn out like 2 mouses on the clicking there. I mean, it's nuts, but fun. All right, so let's continue here. We got there's some campaign maps that comes with the game as well, so you can see what's going on here at the. This was actually from the 18th of January to the 31st. There, they have the preliminary. This is what we'll go into that later on with the whole history of the campaign is, but this shows the bulge or the pocket that the Russians created, and map 2 here shows the main offensive there, the 12th to 17th, the Russian main continuation of that attack, and where those offensives were taking place. And the map 3, I think, shows the German counteroffensive there, the counterstroke, so to speak. So yeah, and the line was stabilized there, as the original line was, and the continuation of the offensive of the Germans there. So that's in there. You have haven't checked these out. These are parameter data editor manual. You can edit the data, the parameter data in the game for your own liking, basically. Here's something. Submap. This is for making your own maps. There's good information here if you want into that and maps and stuff. And here we go. Right, this here is the Ed Volcano Man. Here's documentation concerning all the scenarios that will have the alt at the end of them. You know that these are the suggested rules to have clicked in here. What does it say? Intended optional rules used with these alternate scenarios. Explicit supply may be selected in the alternate campaign scenario. Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of stuff here. Good read if you want to dive into the details. All right, this is a good file as well. The notes. These are the main notes for the game. Here they summarize the history of the game and history behind the campaign and the actual creation and how they went about researching and making this great game. So they have the historical perspective here. As we know, the main attack on Moscow in 41 failed. The Germans stopped very short of Moscow there due to the freezing winter and the total depletion of supplies and fuel, and I mean everything was spent just to try to capture Moscow there, and they were stopped just outside of Moscow. And then the Russians immediately launched a massive counterattack and pushed the Germans dangerously back, and they were close of being annihilated there. But due to some really outstanding tactics and the superiority in tactics, basically, of the German army at the time, they saved themselves and stabilized the front again there. So there's some explanation about that. Here's something about the January battles, that they build up what happened. A bulge is born. That's the one that this title is all about. The Kharkov bulge is south of Kharkov there. And it tells you there's like a short, good story here. I mean, it saves you from looking up on Wikipedia and stuff. But it's all read is good read. So they have strategic positions there for the Germans and the Russians. And then it starts with the May battles there. This is where the title picks up, the May battles. And the plans, the Soviet attack, what happened, how far they got, and what the Germans did to counterattack that. And here they have a story about why they made Kharkov the game, and it's the third of the Panzer campaign's title there. You have the scenario, the map, order of battle, all kinds of good documentation here. You can tell these are serious games, well researched, and very serious indeed. Good stuff. I like that. And what else? Yeah, you have editors. For if you want to look at the OOBs, you have the editor for PC Edit. I'm not sure what that is. Parameters, and you have, of course, the main Panzer campaigns. I think they've included both the Panzer campaigns manuals here. This is it. Yeah, this is a program help file. All right, so this one here goes into mainly the program help file here. The file systems, all the those that are in the game there, assault, and view, the different kind of zoom levels, and all kinds of good stuff here. PBM, the scenario dialogues there, AI, optional rules. This is good stuff. Explains all the optional rules. It's very important here. Game can be like a real game changer when you use the different kinds of rules. The game, you have a completely different game experience. Scenario map. All right, I haven't checked this one out. Let's have a look at this. So this is good. This will tell you where all the certain actions took place of the different scenarios here. Yeah, it's good stuff. Here they have the Second Battle of Kharkov and Operation. This is the also Ed Volcano Man. No. It says Cesar Librano. Okay, so there's some more documentation about this. Wow. Okay. Maybe that's the same as that other one. I'm not sure really. Seems to be the same documentation there. This is a PDF file. This is a Word file. Campaign number 2, campaign full variant. Second, first. Variant 1, Second Battle Kharkov. Could be the same there. You have the getting started. If you aren't familiar with the game system and don't know how to play the game, basically, and you don't really want to dive into the huge manual, you can start getting started. This you will fire up the first scenario there and just follow the text, and you'll learn definitely the basics of the game. I mean, many of these are actually really good, these getting started, because you basically learn everything you need to actually play the game. And then, of course, you can dive deep into all kinds of, crunching numbers and all that. I mean, this if you're a number cruncher, these games are for you. I mean, you can really dive into all the different parameters and movement costs and supply and everything. But you could do that, or you could just casually play these games as well. So this is a good read there, getting started. What else? Thomas Hook. This is the guy who made the music, I think. Yep. But there's no music in these games. Maybe, yeah. There's no music in these new releases, so maybe there's something. He probably had the music for the original games. I haven't noticed that you can turn the music on, but maybe you can. I haven't actually checked that out in this title. We're going to have a look at that. And here you have the completely new revised user manual for the Panzer campaigns. This is it's better written than the old one, and it has lots of beautiful pictures in it, and it's very well made. Whoever made this did a damn fine job. Yeah, so they have all these really nice photos and the updated graphics. Yeah, it's good. Read that. All right, so that's the basic what's in the folder there. Getting back to the game, you can always go in here. If you lose that, you can always go into the selection and you get it right back there. So yeah, so this game, the Kharkov here, lots of good scenarios. Here's the one that I was talking about by Cesar. This is 177 turns. Here you can play the whole shebang, basically. The whole battle, from the first Russian attacks to the German response and counterattacks and basically stabilization of the front there. So you have, they've even included an alternate for the started scenario, which is pretty cool. So as I showed you before, you just go and double check those documents and you can click in the special rules that are recommended for that. Here is the original. This is the stock full campaign that came with the original game there. So they have that. Then they have the Edward Kahneman version of that, revised version, and you can play half campaign as well if you just want to play not the whole thing. It's 80 turns. And then it divides up into all the different major battles, major key points of the actual campaign. So it's sort of chopped up into different kinds of scenarios. If you don't want to play a massive half a year commitment, you can play them, separately. They're really well made here. I mean, they're all sort of chopping it up for you to do different kinds of different kinds of the main campaign there. It's really good stuff. There's loads there. There's loads of scenarios. It goes on and on. Frederikus, what's this? German High Command plans. Yeah, we'll go into that later on. All right, so it goes on here. Loads of scenarios. Good stuff. All right, so what is Kharkov all about? I mean, it's sort of a unknown. It hasn't been that much written about this. But it was actually one of the most brilliant tactics of the German army to save a quite desperate situation. Von Manstein, the famous general there of the German army, he actually made a really good call to stabilize the front. I think it was against Hitler's orders, as usual. Hitler was more of a static tactician. He was not that familiar with the modern war that his generals were experimenting with, the Blitzkrieg, the combined warfare. Hitler was more. I mean, he served in the First World War. He was more of the what the ground you have gained, you hold, and you defend it to the last bullet. His generals were more flexible. They were more like, okay, we can give the enemy some ground to regroup, form a good tactical attack, encircle them and destroy them. I mean, they were more flexible in that sense, and that was the constant struggle for Germany the whole war, and that's basically why it ended the way it did. Because if Hitler had left his generals in charge and completed the war, it probably would have ended differently. But that's what happened. So if you look at this, is kind of a good map. Maybe we can have a look at this. Maybe there's a better one here on Wikipedia. No. All right. But anyways, let's go back to this. Yeah. So what happened was von Manstein pleaded to take forces to be used on this front because the Russians were coming hard and attacking here. And what they did, the lines were actually quite thinly held. I mean, the Russians poured in a shitload of troops in this pocket here. And they attacked. They were launching their attacks. But the Germans were actually planning at the same time a counterattack to destroy this pocket here. And I think the Germans were actually taken by surprise first that the Russians were actually mounting that attack. And the Russians in turn were also taken by surprise as the Russians actually, the Germans actually attacked. The Russians were pretty confident that they have sort of beaten off the Germans now, and they were like in full swing of victorious rush, basically, after the Moscow there. But they underestimated the Germans. They had some pretty badass troops here, and they attacked. And but the Germans were stubborn in the defense and held out, and they had some really stubborn defenses that the Russians were unable to break, and they held out in these sort of hedgehog defense positions that the Russians just could not break, and were taking horrendous casualties in the process there. Another thing that the Germans had as an advantage, and it's a very important factor, was the air superiority. They had the Luftwaffe was called in to save the situation. Without the Luftwaffe coming into this fight, I think it would have ended differently. But they definitely massacred the Russian troops in this fight. It was pretty bad. They had a field day. Once they defeated the little air force the Russians had there, they had complete air superiority and could harass and bomb the shit out of all the supplies and the troops that were amassed. So they really, really did was a big factor in this battle here. Another thing was that the von Manstein had assembled some of the best Panzer thrusts and used them at the full might, basically, and they smashed into the Russians there and caused that encirclement that annihilated. I think it was something like 250,000 POWs here and lots of casualties. The Germans lost quite a bit as well, but it was nowhere near the losses of the Russians there. So it was quite an important operation here, and I understand that they actually made a panzer campaign of this, because this is actually a very important piece in the whole Barbarossa campaign there, in the German war in the east there. So let's just open something up, I guess, and you guys can see. So for instance, let's open this up, this revised new. Just keep it a manual there. We can have a look at the forces. Yeah, so the Russians get to go here first because they are commanding their. I mean, look at this. Look at the size of this thing, man. Yeah. It's actually even easier to look at the jump map up there. Yeah, so this is the bulge here, and the blue counters are the Russians, and the red is the Germans here. So here, this here was one of the main attacks, 12th of May there, that the Russians massed lots of troops and attacked in here. What's good about these, this has actually received the latest update as well on the graphics. You can go into the zoom in 3D view. Looks okay, I guess. And then you have zoom out 3D. You have the zoom in 2D, or this is the new version they've made. It's actually started from the Panzer battles, but they have implemented it on the Panzer campaigns. Not all of them yet, but they're working on it. Yeah, so this was the main attack of the Russians there. Here, and it was... Here you have Kharkov there, and one of the other Russian attacks was up here. This sort of little bulge here. Look at the amount of forces they had here. And even more pouring in the back there. Those reinforcements coming in there. So if you look at look at the Germans were not that, there was a pretty thin line here. It was amazing that they actually could stop these troops here. And of course, you have the counterattacks. You have the 23rd Panzer Division here. What else we got up here? 3rd Panzer Division played a big role in this fight as well. Oops. So what happened was basically, if I remember my history correct, the attack in the north, this was quite dangerous attack from the Russians. It made the Germans to use a lot of forces here. This was not that successful, and the Germans were planning actually doing an attack here and an attack here to cut off this whole bulge. But it ended with that they only committed the southern troops for that attack, because they had to use all their troops here to hold this massive offensive by the Russians here. So they attacked here and closed the pocket, and some Russian units actually managed to escape, but a lot of them were caught in here and annihilated. So that's the basic story of the whole campaign there. But here you go. Here's it, the whole thing. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so here you have it. I'm gonna be firing up a battle in the next video. So this is basically an introduction and to show you guys what comes with the game there. And if you have any questions and stuff, just write in the comments there. This is gonna be a fun title to play for sure. It looks interesting. And what's good about this title as well is that it's sort of fluent in the sense that it's not all just static fighting and grinding down. It's going to be in the initial stages of the fight. It's going to be, the Russians are going to be grinding these defense lines to get through them and spread out into the field. But once they have done that and the Germans are activated to counterattack, it's going to be a lot more fluent battle here. You will be both defending and attacking on both sides, because the Russians will probably have to land on the defensive after the Germans are starting to counterattack there. So very interesting theater of operations here. Very interesting. Yeah. So and there are some Romanian, Hungarian, and Italian troops present in this fight. I don't know if you can see them here. Let's see. They should be over here. Should be some. Here we go. We got. Here's an Italian. Oh, sorry, Hungarian. Jeez, yeah, the Hungarian Hungarische Division 108. There, they're holding this line here. So this is what they look like in the game there. Not that great. They have morale C, which is sort of a standard unit, but the attack values are awful on these guys. I mean, 4 soft, 1 hard, and this is also the age before the Panzerfaust and all them other anti-tank weapons. So this one here is actually for assault values. If you look at some of the German units, 9 and 4, they can actually attack hard at the range of 1, which is pretty good. That's probably because at this stage they've started to realize that the Russian armor is pretty badass, and they need more anti-tank weapons for the infantry there. We got 30 old anti-tank guns there, 3.7. They have 47 millimeter anti-tank guns here for the Hungarians. And here you have some pack 38s, those 50 millimeters. Here's some German units. Morale B. It's pretty good. Tanks present at this time. They would start to have the it's down here. Oh, these are the Russians. They would start to have the Panzer IIIs equipped with a long 60 millimeter barrel there. What else would be present now? Definitely not the Stug 3G, that comes later. Here we have an armored 14th Panzer Division. Let's just see what they are armed with. Yeah, so they have the Panzerkraftwagen 3 with the L60 there. So they are starting to upgun. Here's a Panzerkraftwagen 4. Kurz. I think they have some old Panzerkraftwagen 2s there. Here's the with the short 60 or 50. What else is down here? Look at that. Got a 7.5 centimeter anti-tank guns. Those were pretty rare at the time. Armored cars. Yeah, so they've got some improvements. I think even some Panzerkraftwagen 4s with the long 7.5 actually were present at this time. Here we have some old Stug 3Bs probably, the one with a short barrel there before they were like tank hunters. What's this? Looks like an infantry. Yeah, it's an infantry. You have some called the Light Division. Yeah, we got the 16th Panzer Division there with the half-track mechanized infantry. Pretty cool stuff there. Have an infantry division there. The old 88s. Here's another one. I think this one's probably what I looked at before. 14th Panzer Division there, yeah. Here's something interesting. This yellow, what's this? Here's the Romanians, man. Yeah, they held some part of the line as well. They were not that great. I mean, morale D there. Yeah, pretty lousy troops. We got some Italians up here. Slightly better. Here we have Russians. Got something over here. Some more Romanian troops. Yeah, they were not that well equipped. Here we have something. Hungarian recon. Yeah, got some Hungarian cars there. Yeah, good stuff. So, Kharkov 42, man. So, yeah. So, we're going to start something up. I'm not sure what to play yet. I'm going to have to look through the scenarios there and see what to play, basically. I'm scrolling slowly through them here so you guys can see. Just pause the video there. You'll see the amount of scenarios that comes with the game there. Yeah, great title this. Haven't played it that much actually. Got it installed and stuff. Just having a look at it now, basically. So it's interesting, very interesting here. It'd be fun to try to play the Russians here and see if we could pull it off. Obviously, playing against the AI, it's a lot easier. And in these big scenarios, the AI tends to be not that great. The AI is better in smaller engagements. So that's probably what I'm going to be showcasing later on, a smaller scenario there. So there'll be some resistance fighting that. Yeah, here's the, what's this? 23rd Panzer Division here. Here we go. Yeah. Panzer IV L43. Yeah, there was not many of these around at the time. This is May 1942 here. So, yeah. Yeah, so the Germans actually were very victorious in this. And after that, we know they pushed on and they came to Stalingrad. And that's where the shit hit the fan, basically. All right, that's it. So, next video, going to be doing a battle. If you guys have any, now you've seen the scenario names there, if there's anyone that you want me to play, I'll try it out. Otherwise, I'll just choose something and you guys can see a battle unfolding. So, thanks for watching, man, and see you later. Have a good one.